When you see a fully laden fruit tree, it's a pretty beautiful sight. What's not so pretty is when you see that fruit start to fall and just rotting on the ground. LA was the largest agricultural county in America for many decades. It is now the largest home of food insecure individuals in the country. There's something karmically very wrong with this picture. Food waste to me is shameful. It says to me that we live in a society that has so little value for what we get. I just don't think that waste of this caliber, especially of something so vital to life, is acceptable. Supposedly there are 1 million fruit trees in LA County on residential property. Many of them are these large grapefruit trees or avocados or oranges. Most homeowners will take the low-hanging fruit, put it in a bag, take it to the office, make orange juice out of it. It leaves 80–90% of the fruit on the rest of the tree unused, but even there are families that don't even touch the trees. In 2009, as the economy started tanking, I started seeing more people living on the streets, and I started seeing people looking for food. And it just didn't make sense to me that literally on my neighbor's yard or in my yard there was this source of nutrition that was going unused. And I didn't understand why we couldn't just connect the two. I decided to harvest some of the fruit trees here in the neighborhood that were going to waste and donate that produce directly to a food pantry. Before I knew it, I had homeowners pushing their produce at me, I had volunteers wanting to sign up, and we were off to the races. To be able to take a grapefruit or an orange off a tree and know in 2 or 3 hours that it's in the hands of somebody in need is a pretty amazing gift. And that's really where the motivation, the philosophy, and the initial actions of Food Forward grew out of. It's now grown into something much, much more. We're doing that at farmers markets, and we're doing it by the truckload at the wholesale market. It's still about people gifting food that would otherwise go to waste.
Today we're at Orchid Ranch in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. We are picking grapefruit. Throughout the year we pick everything. We pick avocados, we pick tangerines, lemons, limes, persimmons, pomegranates. Anything that's growing in abundance in Southern California we'll harvest and donate to local hunger relief agencies. Today's a great turnout. We probably have over 60 volunteers who came out to help us. People get really excited about getting outside and getting their hands dirty, literally, and they realize that they can take a hands-on approach to addressing a couple of important issues, food insecurity and food waste. You all are doing too good of a job. We recovered 6,000 pounds of grapefruits that would have otherwise gone to waste. Today is definitely a success.
All right. Thank you very much. Today we're at the Burbank Farmers Market collecting produce from all of the vendors. It's what we call gleaning. They give us produce that they don't think they'll be able to sell, and then we give it off to receiving agencies who will distribute it to people who are in need. It's still perfectly good, perfectly edible, but maybe just not the most pretty. Thank you, we really appreciate this.
Estamos dando apoyo al necesitado, ayudar al que necesita, al que no puede alcanzar un sistema de vida ahorita muy alto.
Every day we start getting calls around 2:30 in the morning from wholesalers in and around the LA wholesale market. They offered us produce that they are no longer able to sell. So they're donating Mexican squash, and this Mexican squash is in good condition. It usually comes a little bit smaller and a little bit more tender. This is perfectly edible. It's just that it has some scratch marks and some discoloration from when the squash was hitting the ground. In our society, people are married to the idea of the perfect piece of produce. So if it's not according to the aesthetics or the standards of beauty that we have for vegetables, they would not buy at a top price. If you crack it in the middle, it's perfect. It's very edible. But this time it is better for the wholesalers to donate it than wait a little longer, and then it won't be good for nobody. For them, for the people in need, for the environment, for absolutely no one. There's 8 pallets of squash here. It's approximately 16,000 pounds, and we will be able to distribute it to many food relief agencies in Los Angeles. Access to fresh fruits and vegetables is a human right. The prices of food at the supermarkets are way too high for low-income people to have access to that nutrition. And that is vital to be able to function and to be able to be your best self. We are creating bridges to get that food to the people that need it the most.
We want fresh fruits and vegetables to be as accessible as your 99-cent meal at the fast food joint. On average, we'll collect 100,000 pounds in one day. And one of the big perks of Food Forward's work is it mitigates millions and millions of pounds of food waste. There has been study after study proving that food rotting in landfills is adding methane and all kinds of stuff to the environment, creating climate change. Our goal is to get healthy, fresh, free produce to people in need rather than to landfills. Taking a piece of fruit from one place and being the change agent and delivering it in another. And in doing so, affecting someone's life in a really positive way. And that's a win all across the board.